boy. Sit. Boy. Hi everyone. Hello from Lycan and myself. And I'm pretty sure this video might upset a few people, but I want you to rather see it as you have been doing the best you can with what you knew. And I see it all the time. People really are doing the best that they can with what they know at that time and with what they have. And I'd like to just add a little education in regard to, I know you love your dog. Okay, I do know you absolutely love your dog. You want to do everything that's right for your dog. But many things boil down to you not really respecting your dog. Okay, so you're sort of inching to get off here. Oh, my beautiful. So in this video, we're going to talk about several things where I know you love your dog, but you're not respecting them and you are missing a lot of things. Right, so here we go. So I'm coming to you as a professional today. I am a qualified canine health ethologist, so dog behaviorist, obedience instructor, natural nutritionist, and all these things. And I do a lot of things in my life. I don't just help people train their dogs. I also do problem behavior solving and all of that. I do dog walking. I don't do dog walking like I used to always do dog walking. I'm doing like a special dog walking kind of thing at the moment. So, and then I also obviously also do holiday service, and that brings me to my very first subject of this particular video, and that is water. We all know to keep water out for our animals. And it doesn't matter what they are, birds, cats, dogs, we should always make sure that they have a supply of water. And it bugs the hell out of me when I either do a holiday service or even visiting friends, because I've seen it there too. And I look at the water dish of the dog especially, and it's full of algae, or the side of the inside of the bowl is algae-ish, even though the water is clean. And I always take pains then to grab that bucket, rinse it out, scrub the algae out, and put fresh water in. So my own dog will never ever experience algae in his water or on his bowl, because we refresh his water like 2-3 times a day. And I actually wash the bowl almost daily, because I don't like the slime that is in there. Even though it is a large bowl, I'd rather give that water to some of my plants. My strawberry plant is thriving with all that gobby water, and I'm getting some really nice strawberries, big ones too. So strawberries are scoring, so it's not like the water is being wasted. But it is important, please keep your dog's water dish clean. Give them fresh water 2-3 times a day, especially on hot days. And if they put a lot of slobber in there, and don't let the algae grow. That is just gross, okay? So just don't do that. And your food dishes. Ooh, how many times have I arrived somewhere having to look after the dogs or the cats, and the first thing I have to do is actually soak those food dishes in some hot soapy water. Then I scrub off all that old food that was all stuck in the bowl, and I really clean these things. And after that, those particular dogs, from me at least, get a clean bowl to eat their food out of, and it gets washed after meal times as well. I do that for my own animals. It bugs the hell out of me to put food, fresh food, into a dirty bowl, or even if it looks clean. A lot of you might be feeding dog food. You put this dry kibble in, the dog eats it up, and you think your bowl is clean because the dog licked it clean, and no, there's bacteria and gob and all sorts of crap in there. And over time it builds up and it just gets more gross. And sure, our dogs are bloody tough. You know, they've got like no problem if they eat poop, they're not going to get sick, but that does not mean that they should be eating out of dirty bowls. So please respect your dog as a living creature. You yourself would never eat from a dirty bowl. So once your dog has eaten their food, pick up those bowls and wash them in hot soapy water, rinse them, let them dry, and the next time food goes in that bowl, it's nice and clean. And please wash those bowls every single time after feeding your dogs. I don't know why people don't do this. Okay, don't just put the food bowl down and go to work. Be there for your dogs. Pick up those dirty bowls after they've eaten, wash them, dry them, and the next time you need it, it's nice and clean. It's just a sign of respect to do that for your dog, please. Okay. All right. And then my biggest pet peeve, and the majority of clients have me point this out to him. This is for as a behavioral or behaviorist consultation, or even as when I'm doing dog training lessons, and that is claws, overgrown nails. All right, so dogs' nails, if you want them to be, let's just say perfect, where they don't hurt the dog, then those nails, when the dog is standing on a nice flat surface and they're standing square on that surface, their claws, their nails, should not touch the ground at all. You should be able to take, say, 2 credit cards that are lying on top of each other and slide it between the floor and the nail. Then you know that nail is perfect length. If the nails are touching the ground, they are too long, all right? They are too long. Please do something about it, because as nails get longer, they actually stretch out the toes. Dogs have got toes almost like cats, very compact. And when those nails are too long, those nails actually pull the toes straight. And what happens then is the little ligaments inside the toes, they actually get damaged with time. And down the line, all the little joints, because they're not in the right place, because they've been stretched out, they're not compact anymore. Your dog can get rheumatism or arthritis at a relatively young age. If the dog is overweight on top of that, it's really going to cause issues. Your dog might be walking as if they're walking on eggshells because their feet are sore. And then you get like totally overgrown nails, and I've actually seen that so many times. Labradors, Bull Terriers, and other breeds, those nails actually pull the toes sideways, or the nails curl back because they're not being clipped now, they don't know where to go. Those dogs have got such sore feet. That's neglect, okay? That is just pure neglect, disrespect. I can still understand, okay, I haven't clipped my dog's nails in a while, they're now touching the floor, and you're like, ooh, crap, got to clip those nails. Great, okay, no problem. But when those toenails are so long that the toes actually like get pulled sideways, or the nails start to curl in and they actually grow back into the flesh, that's neglect. All right, it actually borders on abuse. Please respect your dog. Look at their nails. Take them to the vet or the groomer at least once a month. And even if they just clip a little bit off, this is now, if you're too scared to do it yourself, I have got videos on where I'm basically teaching you how to get a dog used to clippers and even that little nail grinder. So please watch my videos and learn how to do it yourself. Keep it fun and positive, and your dog will actually allow you to clip their nails, no problem. All right? Otherwise, please, groomers or vets, but be careful now, okay? So many owners send their dogs to the groomers, and the groomer says, oh yes, we clipped their nails. In the meantime, the dog probably struggled or growled or snapped, and they went, oh, we're not clipping those nails, but we'll charge for it. And the next time I see this dog, the nails are just as long as the previous time when I told them, please let the dog go to a groomer and let them clip nails. And the owner swears to me that the dog did go to the groomer and they swear they clipped those nails. And I'm like, no, they didn't. I'm not stupid. I remember from last time, those nails are too long. They need clipping. So watch those groomers. Okay, half the time they don't clip the nails, or they take off so little, it's barely noticeable because they're actually not professional and they haven't got a clue how to do it correctly. They're too scared to clip the quick inside, which is good. You've got to be scared to do that. You're not supposed to cut the quick with the blood supply and the nerves. It's very sore. But a professional groomer does know how to clip nails and work those nails backward until they get to where the quick starts, and then they would stop there. And then they would advise you, the dog owner, listen, those nails are still too long. Bring the dog back in a week or two and let us work on those nails to actually train the quick to move backward, because that's what actually happens. The more frequently you work on those nails, the quick recedes. And this is without hurting the dog or damaging the nail or anything like that. So if your groomer is not supporting your dog's nails in the right way, get a new groomer. Find someone who knows about dog nails and let them do it properly. And that should be happening every 2 weeks or so until the nails are at the right length, not touching the floor. And then you can send the dog once a month for nail clipping or whatever. But the best thing is, do it yourself. It's your dog, okay? Please do it yourself. Your dog, your responsibility. When you brought that dog into your life, you took responsibility for it. It's a dog. Please respect it as a dog. It doesn't bite its nails shorter. It's not going to wear them down on the ground. Like on my German Shepherd, when he runs on hard surfaces, he's got such hard nails. They do not wear down. I physically have to sit with him and I work on his nails and I make it fun and positive because I know he doesn't like it. And I fools around because he's actually enjoying it now. Okay, it's not a big deal anymore. So please, really, it's really not difficult. And it's your dog. It's your responsibility. Okay? That's what you took on when you bought this dog or you brought them home. I don't care where you got them from. It's your responsibility. So please, look after your dog's nails. They cannot do it by themselves. Same goes for grooming. Most people send their dogs off to the groomers. You know, I can understand if you have a dog like a Maltese or a Yorkshire Terrier or a Doodle, Poodle or whatever, because chances are they need to have their coats cut by a professional. In that sense, I'm all for it. But for the rest of us, okay, I had Bull Terriers, I had a Bull Mastiff, German Shepherds. I was responsible for their coats. So I wash my dog as needed, okay? I don't overdo it because I don't want to damage the dog's coat or the oils and the skins and things. I use the right shampoo for that particular situation, all right? Whatever it might be. It could be a herbal tick and flea shampoo. It could just be a clean the dog shampoo. It doesn't have to be special. All right, so again, it's my responsibility. It was also my responsibility to train my dog to accept hopping into the bath and me actually washing them. And we've got a whole beautiful system to do it. It works, the dog is happy. I actually brush him before we do the washing and I brush afterwards to loosen all those hairs. For those of you with dogs that shed a lot, like the German Shepherd that shed basically twice a year for 6 months at a time, we all know that. Brush them every 2-3 days. I use a flea comb because it really helps to get that undercoat out. I never have any fluffs or tufts that his coat gives me to pull because I'm just so, I don't know, what do you want to call it, but I brush him on a regular basis. That way I can check for fleas, I can check for ticks and things. All right, so that brings me to my next subject. When it comes to ticks and fleas, people, please research. Dogs are dying. They are put on all these vet tick and flea stuff like your Simparica's, your NexGards, your Bravectos, your this and your that. Some of them are internal, some of them are external. It doesn't matter. Just hear me out. Remember, and please read the pamphlets inside that little box, okay, of your Bravecto, NexGard, or whatever. Read the side effects, okay. There is so much evidence already that these pesticides, because that's what it is, are also damaging the dogs. All right, side effects can be death, can be seizures, it can be tremors, it can be paralysis, it can be vomiting, it can be a variety of things. So your first few doses, the first few months, your dogs might not have any side effects whatsoever, but because it's a pesticide, it's a neurotoxin, it does gather inside the tissues and the organs of your dog, all right, and it builds up, and over time there's enough pesticide in there to start bringing forward side effects. And like I say, death can be one of them. And some of the injuries of these pesticides, like your seizures or those kind of things, it can be permanent, all right? So let me quickly explain how the thinking is of these pharmaceutical companies that sell you these pesticides or give it to the vet to sell to you. And I'm sure I don't even know what to say, because it's shocking, it's horrifying. So it's supposed to work that the pesticide is put on the dog, or tablet, they eat it, it goes in the body. It spreads into their blood and their tissues. Along comes your tick or flea. It bites the dog, it sucks the blood, and because the blood is poisonous, it's got pesticide in, the flea or the tick now die. They fall off. And there we go. So those type of pesticides do not repel those parasites, okay? Those parasites still have to bite the dog, and then only do they fall off and die. So if it's doing that to the parasites, what the hell is it doing to your dog? Okay, your dog is much bigger, but still, they've got this neurotoxin, this poison flowing through their body. It's in their tissues. And guess what? If a tick that is diseased with Lyme disease, what's it called? Tick fever, or what's the other one now? It's with a bee. I forget. Doesn't matter. Any kind of tick diseases. If an infected tick bites your dog, although it'll be poisoned by the poisoned blood and fall off and die, it could still have infected your dog with tick fever, Lyme disease, or that other one with a bee. I forget what it's called. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So remember that, okay? Now, if you use something like the apple cider vinegar water mix, like I do with my dog, and when we went hiking at De Wild, I actually just about soaked him in it, because I knew we're going into the bushveld. It's a little bit wilder out there than some of the other places we go. And the ticks were just walking on him. They didn't actually go into the fur, because he clearly didn't taste or, well, smell very nice. And it was easy just to get rid of them. And when I got home, and you should be doing this as well, because normally ticks will crawl around on their bodies for 24 hours. So when you get home, whether your dog is on Bravecto, NexGard, Simparica, or whatever, take a flea comb and brush your dog out. We found several more ticks that were running around on his body, trying to find a place to latch on, but because he tasted so bad or smelled horrible, they didn't. And I actually killed them with just normal plain vinegar. I had a little bowl with vinegar liquid, threw the ticks in there. They struggled a little bit, and then there were no more. So vinegar, they really, really do not like it. Okay, so there's something you can use, and the vinegar is not going to poison your dog. All right, so it's your choice, obviously. And I'm not saying that my word is law. What I am going to encourage, though, is please research. Dig a little deeper, okay? Ask if your vet has done any research into some of the side effects. Did the pharmaceutical company that came there and said, our product is magic, it'll keep ticks and fleas away? If there's any proof of that, what about it's a neurotoxin? The tick and flea needs to bite the animal and get poisoned. What does that say for your dog who is actually walking around in this poisonous state? And remember, that will lower their immune systems and make them more vulnerable to other things like cancer and who knows what. Please respect your dog, protect them, but do it properly, do it safely. And that brings me to my next subject. And that is, our dogs are not omnivores, okay? Let me show you what an omnivore is. Trigger warning, I have a skull. This is a skull of a domestic pig. We all know pigs are omnivorous. They can eat anything. They can eat meat. They can eat plant matter. It doesn't matter. They will eat everything, okay? Now look at their teeth. Do you see these molars? These molars are flat and wide. So this is an animal that can chew vegetation, and it actually has now, it lost a lot of teeth, but it actually had very sharp, almost dog-like teeth in the front, and that is to show that carnivorous side of it. So pigs are dangerous. If they bite you, they can do a lot of damage, similar to a dog. All right, so don't underestimate a pig's power, but they are omnivore. Okay, you can see just by the flat teeth, top and bottom. Right, now, oh, one of the teeth just fell out. I'll find it later. Now, everybody says dogs are omnivores. They can eat a lot of vegetation and cereals and all that jazz. And that is just an excuse that the dog food companies came up with, because how else do they sell the leftover cereals from the human industry than via the ways of dog food? All right. It's a great filler because guess what? Meat is expensive. All right. I'm not going to go out there now and wonder why my dog is barking. The whole neighborhood is barking, so I don't care. All right. So basically, the meat industry that caters to the dog food, they are using dead, disabled, diseased, dying animals that come to the butchers, or the leftovers from when the dead animal, the carcass is stripped for the human industry, whatever's left over, all gets thrown into the dog food kind of thing. But dog food is, the meat, shall I rather say, is expensive. So normally there's less of that than there is of the more cereal and that kind of stuff. That's why you'll find so much rice and maize and soy and wheat and all this nonsense in dog food. And if they're in the top 3 ingredients, you should really worry, because that's a lot of crap. So dogs are carnivores, okay? They are true, well, they can eat vegetation. Wolves also do it. In the times of leanness where hunting is, shall we say, not very good, let's say winter, there's not too many prey animals around, your wolves will actually eat vegetation. They'll eat blueberries or any other berries they can get hold of, or whatever else is basically edible veggie-wise. They'll quite happily eat that. It's not a problem. And their systems are designed to actually be able to cope. And they have a short digestive tract. And our dogs are exactly the same. Yes, our dogs do have this one extra enzyme which has developed with time as we domesticated them. And they can now digest starches and carbohydrates a little bit better than, say, a wolf. But that doesn't mean that they are omnivores and should be eating like a vegetarian diet or some stupid thing like veganism. It doesn't work for dogs. They are carnivores. Let me show you the following. Again, trigger warning. This is a dog skull. Now look at the teeth. Do you see how sharp, even the back teeth, do you see flat molars anywhere? No, these are all sharp teeth. They are designed to bite, rip, shred, and swallow. There's no chewing going on over here because there's no flat molars. These are not herbivores or omnivores. These are carnivores. They've got very, very sharp teeth in the front and the back, all right? So this is a dog. This was a domestic dog that passed away for whatever reason, and I was lucky enough to get hold of this skull, and in honor of this poor little thing who was just discarded in the veldt, gee, thanks people, in a plastic bag, how rude, I decided to clean it up and use it for education. So in honor of this little dog who passed away for whatever reason. And I don't think it was that old either, because it actually has really, really good teeth. So who knows what happened to this poor little dog. Okay, it was obviously an adult. So either way, sharp teeth equal carnivore, supposed to eat meat and bone and organs and those kind of things. Not maize and wheat and potatoes and who knows what, okay? They're carnivores. They are part of the canine family. So, respect your dog. Research what dogs are supposed to eat. There's tons of information out there on the internet. Paws of Prey is a channel on YouTube that is absolutely excellent in teaching you about raw diets or raw feeding for dogs, cats, and ferrets. And they give a ton of information. So if you want to start, but you don't know where or how, or you just want to do toppers or whatever, this channel can actually guide you really, really well. So do that, okay? So don't just take my word for anything that I'm saying here today in this video. Do your research, okay? But respect your dog, okay? It's not a human, it's not a herbivore, it's not an omnivore, and it needs clean bowls, it needs short nails, etc., etc. Okay, now, that brings me to my next little, shall we call it pet peeve? And a lot of my clients have heard me say this to them as well, and I hate actually pointing it out to them, because the vet will always tell them, oh no, your dog isn't perfect weight, it's pet weight. Of course the vet is going to say that, because your pet weight dog is actually overweight, okay? And a lot of overweight dogs are very much so going to develop health problems. Joint problems, heart and lung problems, skin problems. My word, the list is endless. We don't have time for that. But suffice it to say, I have yet to see in nature a wild African dog or a dingo or a wolf or even a coyote or even a fox in the wild, in nature, that is pet weight or overweight or obese. Nature did not intend, not even for our domestic dogs, to be overweight or obese or pet weight, which in my eyes is still overweight. All right, most dogs are starting to look like stuffed sausages, like walking blobs. All you see is these thin legs and this giant marshmallow body wobbling along. And my heart bleeds for them, because I see how they struggle to walk. They're panting all the time because they're carrying all this extra weight. Their feet are sore because their toes, first of all, their nails are normally too long as well, because in my eyes, and especially the overweight dogs, they're being neglected, all right? It's almost abuse. I know people love their dogs, but that's not love, okay? That's absolute disrespect and neglect. I know people probably hate me for saying all these things, but a really happy dog will always be a nice lean weight. You should not be able to see the ribs, obviously. And if you condition them, you might actually see a few ribs, depending on the coat as well. And I mean, you can absolutely condition your dogs nicely with exercise and the right food and the right amount of food and all these things. And that's wonderful. And if you decide, you know what, I'm not going to go that far, I'm just going to keep my dog lean and healthy, and we're going to do things like hiking and flirt pole and other energetic things, hopefully not just on the weekends, but every single day of their lives, lots of exercise. And you're going to just keep the dog nice and lean. They should have a nice tuck behind their ribs. You should be able to feel every single rib, not necessarily see them. And then your dog is in pretty damn good weight, shall we call it that. But if there's a thick fat layer, you can't feel the ribs and there's no tuck, and your dog looks like a stuffed sausage and it wobbles along and it's struggling, please don't disrespect your dog like that. Respect them. Mother Nature intended them to stay nice and lean and healthy. So the same goes for cats, quite frankly. It breaks my heart when I see overweight animals, because I see the struggle that they go through. And I mean, I'm trying so hard to keep my own boy nice and lean, considering he's an orchid and he might have osteoporosis in the future. He's already got chronic arthritis because of it. If I were to allow him to get fat, because he is the type of dog that looks at food and gains 5 kilograms, he really is like that. So I'm so careful with how much I give him. I'm careful with what I feed him because he's a carnivore. I'm so careful with the amount of treats that I give and the type of treats that I give so that we don't add weight to his, shall we call it, sensitive body, because he's so prone to gaining weight. So I've got to watch my family that they don't feed him so many cookies behind my back. It happens all the time. It drives me crazy because sometimes my dog is gaining weight and I'm like, but I've been so careful. And then I look again and someone's busy sneaking him a cookie. So, you know, you've got to be so damn careful. And I'm careful with his exercise because of being an orchid and all the health issues that sit on this. I can't exercise him like a dog that doesn't have those type of health issues. So I've got to be very, very careful. I mean, granted, right now he is in like, wow, peak condition. He's nicely conditioned. He's in great weight, great body condition and all of that. He loves his food. He eats really well. He's not skinny. His arthritis is under control and all these kind of things. We haven't had any, thank goodness, other issues with him. And it's hard work because I respect him. I respect him as a dog. I look after his nails, his weight, water dishes, food dishes, and I make sure I don't poison him with toxic chemicals and those kind of things. And that's what I'm going to ask of you guys. So don't just take my word for it. Please research. The internet is jam-packed full of information. All right. If you don't trust Google, use DuckDuckGo or some of the others. There are a lot of other apps. I don't have my cell phone here now, so I can't actually check for you because it's on my cell phone. But it's so easy to verify a lot of the things that I've said. You can even double check it on YouTube because there's so many that feel exactly the same as I do. Even some vets. There are holistic vets. No, don't walk on my keyboard. There are some holistic vets out there that really care about your dog. They don't want to sell you chemicals and shit, excuse the language, just so that they can see you a month or two down the line because now your dog's having a terrible side effect and now it needs their veterinary care again. All right? So please, please respect your dog. I know you love them, but you got to do more than just love them, okay? You got to do what is right for them, their bodies. So I haven't even spoken about social stimulation and physical stimulation and mental stimulation. That's like a whole different video. But for now, we're talking about the actual physical dog and what it is. And it is a cousin to the wolf and the dingo and the wild African dog. And although we see them as, yeah, but we've domesticated them over I don't know how many thousands of years, nothing has changed. Did their teeth change? No. They have wolf teeth. Has their digestive tract changed? No. Except for the fact that they have one extra enzyme now. I think it's amylase, I can't remember. That can actually digest carbohydrates much better than their wild cousins. But that's it. And the only other thing that changed was with breeding, selective breeding. We have changed their shapes and their sizes and their coats and their function, like herding or hunting or retrieving or whatever. That's the only thing that's really changed. But inside, in the mouth and in their brains, they are still canines. They're part of the canine family. And we don't respect them as such. We turn them into fur babies. We hold them and cradle them like a little baby. And we treat them like little babies, and we feed them human foods that are so bad for them, and we poison them thinking we're doing a good thing because our vets are not educating us. Or sometimes, yes, it's just ignorance or blind belief. Somebody might say something. That's why I say, please don't blindly believe me. I'm really encouraging you. Everything I have said today, research it. And not just from one source, okay? You really have to go to lots of different resources And don't just use Google. Use, say, like the DuckDuckGo or YouTube, because there are videos out there. There are a lot of people out there with the same, I don't know, mentality as I have. We care about dogs. We want to help you do better by your dog. That's why I keep saying, I know you love your dog. I love my dog lots too, and I made so many mistakes over the years. And as they say, with age comes wisdom, or with, actually they should say with time comes wisdom, not so much with age, okay? We won't go there. And every previous dog will actually help you become a better dog owner. I have seen that with myself. And I can say that's absolutely, definitely true. There's a lot of stuff I wish I knew then that I know now, because wow, I think my own dogs in those days and times, their lives would have been different, and I would not have made so many mistakes. But you got to make mistakes in order to learn. That's how it works. With every mistake, you become more knowledgeable and wiser and less likely to make that same mistake. So please research and learn, and don't be like this, tunnel vision or blinded. Be open, have an open mind, and be willing to say, you know what, I was wrong. I've done that so many times, but I am very much a person who's very open-minded, okay? I might be set in my ways somewhere along the line, and then somebody comes with better information. I'm going to go, huh, let me dig into it. And I don't just dig in one source, like I say, dig in many different sources, research, and then make a decision from there. And don't always blindly believe science. Science is there where you should be able to repeat something and get the same result. And you've got to keep experimenting to see if you can get different results. And with time and technology and different research and everything falling into the same pot, if I must put it that way, you find that the science also changes. All right, so don't be, but the science says. The science doesn't always say. Science also makes mistakes. And unfortunately, on the pharmaceutical side, basically the companies with all the chemicals, they pay for that science, and they will pay for the science that profits them. So be careful of, but the science says. It is a profitable science. It is not true science that will actually be to the benefit of, say, your dog or even yourself in the medical industry. I think we've seen that over the years. All right, so I'm going to stop this video here. I hope that you have benefited from my words. I hope that you will go out there and say, you know what, I'm going to research into this. I'm going to research why I shouldn't leave the slime and the algae in my dog's bowl, or why I should wash my dog's bowl, or why I should maybe feed them a species-specific diet or a biologically appropriate, say, raw food diet, or something similar but that caters for the carnivore in your dog. I know not all dogs can actually eat a raw diet, so I'm not saying you must feed them raw. I'm saying research it and find out what's going to be best for your dog, healthiest for your dog, all right? Because your dead dog food is probably not going to do it. If anything, it'll profit the vets down the line. Research why you should keep your dog at a optimal, healthy, lean weight, not pet weight. Pet weight is overweight. Look into why you should keep your dog's nails trimmed properly, all right, and why it is such a bad idea to have a dog with overgrown nails running around. Stuff like that, okay? Please research it, okay? My job is to just throw education at you. What you do with it in the end, that is up to you, but I do want you guys to open your mind to the possibility that you could actually do better for your dog, all right? I'm sure there's a lot of you that are very much like me. You're doing the nails, you're feeding raw, or you're feeding correctly, and you are grooming your dog on a regular basis properly. You're not relying on the groomer to brush your dog like every 4 or 6 months, or cut their nails every 4 to 6 months, or some nonsense like that. And I'm sure you all wash your bowls and things. but there are so many people who's it's never occurred to them that their pet weight dog is actually overweight and is struggling. I've actually seen changes in temperament and personality of overweight dogs who were at pet weight or bigger, and the owners decided, you know what, I'm going to make the effort. I want a healthy dog. I'm going to cut back on the food. I'm going to exercise my dog more. And exercise is not just exercise. If you're doing it with your dog, it's bonding as well. It's relationship building. So please, why not? And I've seen the changes. I see happier dogs. I see dogs that are more willing to do things for their owners because they're not feeling bleh because of all this weight that they have on them. I see dogs actually developing good appetites. They're not fussy anymore because they're not thick and full and bleh. All right? Get your dog to a nice weight. You'll be surprised at the positive changes that are going to probably happen. All right, so research all of this, and please enjoy your dog. Do right by them. Respect them. Okay. Thank you for listening to me rant on about this. I'm going to end my rant now. I hope you guys were willing enough to watch the whole video, and I'm not going to put out videos like this too often. I know that some people will probably not like what I had to say, but like I say, even with my own clients, they sometimes have to hear me say stuff that doesn't sit very well with them, but unfortunately they had to hear it, and they need to know these things. It's knowledge, it's education, because they're not going to get it anywhere else. And I still encourage them as well, please, don't take my word for it. Research it, okay? Please research. And I will see you all in the next video, and Lycan will be in that video as well, I'm sure. Have a